Thanks, bro, man. My boy Darrius is with me today. Thanks, bro, for coming to do this interview, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We had an interview, bro, a few days ago that just like blew me away. You know what I'm saying? In your 31 years of living, to hear just a little bit of your journey, I just believe that I only got the tip of the iceberg of some of the things you've been through, some of the things you endured, some of the things that led to you being who you are now, you know what I mean? And it's just been a privilege, you know, us growing up together. We done seen a lot together. Jokers getting jumped, jokers getting dropped. We done, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We done been to church together. We done went bowling, kicked it, all that. So just, you know what I'm saying? Us being bros, you know what I'm saying? It was dope to catch up, you know what I'm saying, in a conversation. So that's just what I want to do now, man. You told me a little bit about you not eating meat for 9 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, like, how did you do that, bro?
Well, like I said on the phone call, it was a kind of a health issue I was having with myself that led me to changing my diet, rather my lifestyle up. You know, about 10 years ago, I had a couple of strokes. You know, I was just out here doing real bad, you know, basically killing myself. I was drinking a lot of lean, what they call it, drinking lean, taking pills, drinking every day, beers, liquor. I was homeless for a while, you know, so I was just doing a lot of detrimental things to my body, you know, pretty much as a result of what I would probably call a depression I was going through. You know, I was dealing with the murder of my dad, so I kind of dipped off into a real dark place after that, you know, so I kind of was coping, self-medicating myself, and just not really being real, I would say, healthy, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of went through a phase for about 3 or 4 years where I was just homeless and I was just drugging daily, you know what I'm saying? Not sleeping, sometimes not eating. And then came one day I was just chilling with a friend of mine, and then my body just started giving out on me. Just my right side just started going numb, couldn't feel nothing. My face got numb, arm, leg, you know, the things you probably hear about when people having a stroke, you know, but at this point in time, I didn't know what was going on with me. I couldn't even speak at the moment. You know, I was trying to communicate with the person who I was with, and I couldn't even get the words out. It was like, literally like mush mouth. I was like, blub, blub, like the word. I'm talking in my head, but it's like my brain and my mouth was not in sync. They wasn't even on the same track, so.
Were you standing up or were you sitting down?
I was sitting down. I was sitting down, laying down, kind of, you know what I'm saying, on the couch. And then I just had to lay down. So I started texting a friend of mine who was, I believe they was like kind of like in a nursing field at the time, because I couldn't physically talk to the person I was in the room with. So I was telling them what was going on with me. They was like, sound like you having a stroke. So me being me, I'm like, well, I'm not going to the hospital or nothing. I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna just lay here. If I felt like if this was my time to go, then you know, I'd pretty much done it to myself. So I laid there that night, and you know, that was probably the scariest thing I would ever experienced. And as I was laying there, I always say it wasn't really sleep that I was having at this point in time. This was like a near-death experience I was going through. I was really on that threshold between living and dying. So as I closed my eyes, then was I would say on that trip I was on, it was a real wake-up call. It was just something speaking to me during this time. It was basically telling me that I wasn't living right. I need to straighten my life up, get my life together. I got much more to live for. I'm better than this. It was, you know, like I was telling you the other day, it was pretty much that light that people always refer to. You know, it was a light that, you know what I'm saying, it woke me up. You know, so once I woke up from that, I was pretty much, I felt like I had to do something. I had to make a drastic lifestyle change, which led to me doing a lot of research on what causes, you know, strokes. Of course, I knew that I was putting a lot of detrimental substances in my body. I knew I had to cut those off immediately. So I can say since that day, I haven't drinking any cough syrup that I was doing. I was like doing that heavily on the daily. Haven't taken any pills, any narcotics. Wow. You know, I stopped drinking beers. I stopped smoking cigarettes. You know, I just recently, probably about 6 to 7 months ago, haven't smoked weed since that time. No liquor, anything like that. So after that came the diet change, where I was just like, man, I gotta change my eating habits up as well. You know, I started off with I cut out red meat, of course, pork, hamburgers, beef, stuff like that. Then as it gradually, I started feeling a little better, you know what I'm saying? And the more research I started to do, the more I found out, you know, like eating meat really is not necessary for our body, you know what I'm saying? Our body really don't react well to it. And that led me to just cut it out altogether. This was 2012. You know, so that's the last time I ate some meat. So I pretty much just got into different holistic studies, listening to different herbalists and teachers. You know, Dr. Sebi, was watching a lot of his videos. Dr. Layla Africa, he was big on health. So different teachers and guides that we have in the community, you know, that was real proactive with the health.
So you was 21 around the time you had the stroke?
Yep, 21. It was the spring of 2012, so I'd have been 22 in a few months.
Got you. Wow. Did that happen multiple times or just that once?
It happened that first night was the most severe. And after that, I kind of had like smaller episodes where I would just go numb. Yeah. You know what I mean? It happened like 2 times within like a week span. You know, but sometimes I still feel like I still got nerve damage from it, you know, so sometimes I will go numb, like my arm or my leg or something may go numb, but the whole like mental shutdown and the lack of communication skills, that was just that first time, that night that happened.
Did you go to the hospital or the doctor after that, or?
No, probably not for a few years until I went to a doctor and I had some brain work done, like I want to say it was like a EEG or EKG or something. Where they kind of did some brain tests and nerve tests on me. They found some nerve damage, but nothing to their knowledge that would say that I had a stroke. But I know based on the symptoms that I had, like I believe it's a commercial. It says FAST. It's like face, arm, speech, and then tell somebody. So that was all the symptoms that I had. My face went numb, my arms went numb, my speech left me, but I couldn't, and I ended up telling somebody. So that's how I correlated that with the stroke. But no, I never really went to the hospital to check on myself after that.
Got you. So the death of your father, I remember when that happened. That led to a depression. Yeah. And then the depression led to drug use and sipping lean and different pills and stuff like that. So that experience that you had, do you see any similarities with like a lot of the young rappers these days that, you know, talk about the drug use and the young rappers that's dying from the stuff?
Oh, definitely. I see a big correlation with drug use and them promoting it, and a lot of them, you know, leaving here earlier than they should. You know, just one come to mind, I believe it was
it Juice WRLD?
Juice WRLD,
Yep.
yep, Juice WRLD, and another rapper from Chicago. I can't remember his name at the moment, but yeah, a lot of those guys, they promote that lifestyle.
Mac Miller?
Yeah, Mac Miller, even Lil Wayne, I know he was having seizures at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? And he promote drinking syrup, sipping lean, you know, a lot. So yeah, it's like they only really telling you about the feeling that you get, but they not really exposing the side effects, or they don't want to shed light on the fact that I'm having seizures, or, you know, a lot of them may have strokes or seizures that they don't know about. And they just kind of probably brush it off as, oh, you know, I'll be okay. But you know, you gotta pay attention to your body. You know, your body is always trying to tell you, you know, give you signs. You know what I'm saying, telling you that, all right, maybe we need to do some reevaluating on, you know, what I'm putting inside of it.
Yeah. Facts. Like, what are some of the natural remedies or some of the natural healings that you use to help you to overcome these seizures?
Well, the first thing I would say was, and it's pretty much a real simple one, is water. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people really kind of don't pay too much attention to their water intake, you know, and I feel like water just, like at that point when I was having strokes and seizures, I probably was drinking little to no water at the time, you know, and water is like one of the most essential things that your body needs is like 75% or more water, you know, so I had to first and foremost start drinking more water, spring water at that. You know, I want to emphasize the spring water because that's pretty much the natural water. It's still in its natural form. Then I started taking like different multivitamins. The main multivitamin I take is a supplement, sea moss. You know, I religiously take that like every day. That's it's a herb. It's very, very mineral and nutritious. Contains like 90% of the nutrients, minerals that your body is made of. So I take that. I was doing a lot of greens, a lot of green things. Spirulina, chlorella, just as far as eating, you know, spinach, kale, arugula, just a lot of greens.
What about lettuce?
Lettuce.
Just like salad?
I'm not real big on lettuce. I prefer to do spinach. Lettuce is kind of, it doesn't really hold too many nutrients or vitamins. Really, it's kind of real water-based. It's actually like a hybrid vegetable, actually. Hybrid meaning, most lettuce, I would say, is genetically modified, you know, which means they probably added some chemicals or mixed it up in a laboratory of some sort, whereas it kind of just tastes good, but it's not really good for you, which is what most of, especially black people, you know what I'm saying, we got the most health disparities and issues, so we pretty much just go for what we know, what our grandparents, what our moms, and everybody just cook for us as children, and we grow up thinking, you know, oh, it's soul food, is good for us, when in actuality it just tastes good, and there's really no nutritional value in a lot of the foods we eat.
I didn't know that about lettuce. Like, I just thought it's lettuce. You know what I'm saying? I never thought about it being genetically tampered with. Is that why we have like a lot of recalls on certain lettuce?
That could be a
The
major.
chemicals they might spread with.
Yeah, that could be a major reason why they recall lettuce a lot because it's being grown in factories and laboratories and they probably miss some type of calculation or something with it, or people probably are eating it and figuring out that it's making them sick or ill, and then they make reports or complaints about it. But it's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes with our food, with the food industry that we are unaware of, and they promote a lot of unhealthy habits to us, like we were saying with the rappers and or even just watching television. Every commercial you see is a fast food commercial.
Facts.
or it's candy commercials,
Box food products, something like that. Right,
processed food, generally processed food. I try. That was probably one of the most influential things I did for myself as well. I try to stay away from a lot of processed food. I always read the labels on things, try to watch the sodium intake. You know what I'm saying? The more ingredients something has, probably the worse off it is for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the more ingredients something has, that means the more that they've tampered with it or, modified it themselves.
Yeah.
Like, let's just say some fruit juice, for example. You can go and buy a juice from the store, and it'll say strawberry juice, but you will read the back of the ingredients. There's no strawberries in it. It's no juice, and it may say 5% juice.
Concentrated syrup in there, all kind of stuff.
High fructose corn syrup, that's another big thing that I stay away from. It's basically a poison. It's basically, it's like the two biggest killers amongst our people are sugar and salt.
Wow.
And I try to avoid those, at least the unhealthier versions of them, the iodized salt, sugar, period, white sugar, anything bleached pretty much. You want to kind of avoid that. You want stuff in its natural state, cane sugar or agave syrup, date syrup, stuff like that.
Okay.
I do sea salt and Himalayan salt.
Himalayan salt?
Yeah, it's pink Himalayan salt. It tastes just like salt, but it's haven't been
like a player from the Himalaya. Like Himalayan salt, real Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
Where can you find Himalayan salt?
I get it from Trader Joe's, Whole Foods.
Okay.
You even starting to see it now in local stores, dollar stores. It's becoming pretty common to see it, different places.
Okay.
A lot of people are starting to get more health conscious, so they putting a lot of more healthier items in just your common areas now.
We talked about, like a person to die from high cholesterol or like high blood pressure, heart attack, liver disease or whatever, and then we'll serve fried chicken at the, at the repast for the dinner. And it's like, yo, this stuff is killing us.
Yeah, we conditioned, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like we kind of so far gone into it where, like I was saying earlier, our grandparents, great-grandparents, we figure, they lived to be 90, 100 years old eating pork and eating ham and hocks and greens and black-eyed peas. But the difference between them and us, most of them, for the most part, were in control of their own food source. A lot of our grandparents, they had gardens, they had farms where they were growing their own food, so they knew what was in it. They knew they weren't putting no poisons or pesticides in it. So that kind of negated a lot of the, I would say, the health disparity thing. You know what I'm saying? But now, we kind of at the mercy of grocery stores and wherever else you shop for food, and you don't really know what's in your food. What's in the like, food can say organic, can say natural, but that's just a label they can put on there. It don't have to be actually organic, you know. So now we conditioned to just eat what feel good to us. We kind of emotional. A lot of people eat based off their emotions. You know, they kind of, oh, I feel sad. You know what I'm saying? You can correlate sadness with, they go get some ice cream or some chocolate. You know what I'm saying? Just straight sugar, you know what I'm saying? Or you may go get some fried chicken, like you said, but half the time you getting that fried chicken, you don't know what that chicken done been through, where that chicken came from, what they fed that chicken, what they done shot up into that chicken, or if it's even chicken for...
Is it even chicken?
Yeah, facts. So yeah, a lot of us just eat emotionally, you know. If it make us feel good, if it tastes good, then that's what we gonna do. We're not necessarily thinking about how it makes us, how it reacts in our body, or how it's gonna make my body function. You know what I'm saying? Your body's main goal is to always be at optimal health. So that's what your body and its immune system is always trying to make itself whole, make itself heal. You know, that's the body's that's the immune system function. So if you're not giving it the necessary nutrients and vitamins or herbs or stuff for you to bring yourself back to health and wellness, then the body will, in a sense, just kill itself, deteriorate itself. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of you know, a catch-22. It's like I was saying, most of the stuff that's good for us won't taste good to us.
Right.
Know? And that's where we kind of we get misled. You know, we think, oh, it tastes good, it's soul food, when actually it's not good for your soul at all.
Wow.
You know?
So what is a regular day nutrition look like for you? What is your, eating, what does that look like on a regular day?
On a regular day, may wake up, as soon as I wake up, I drink at least 2 cups of water. First thing I do, 2 cups of water. Some days I put my key lime juice in there. Most of the days but for the most part, boom, as soon as I get up, I'm drinking water. After that, I'll take my sea moss, get my supplements in. Then I may have a cup of either tea or it's what I like to call my coffee. It's not really coffee. I don't drink coffee, but it's a concoction I make with raw cacao powder, a little honey, and some lemon juice, lime juice, cinnamon, stuff like that. Normally, I don't really eat a meal until after 2, 3 o'clock. Your body really your body's on a schedule, just like, it's like an 8-hour schedule. Each 8 hours, your body goes through a different process. So from about 7 a.m. to about 3 p.m., you should really just be doing liquids or fruits. You don't really want to eat too heavy earlier in the day, because your body is in the process of a kind of an elimination process, where it's getting out everything from the previous day or what have you. You're eliminating that. From 3 to 11 will be your optimal times to eat your meals, your heaviest meals. So I would say on a daily, I would probably, on like a brunch, a little late lunch brunch, I would probably I like oatmeals, I like, my potatoes, I do a lot of salads, I like pastas, beans, rice, stuff like that. I still treat myself sometimes, there's a lot of vegan treats out there now. So
like what?
You got vegan ice cream now, like coconut milk ice cream. You got your, vegan cookies, brownies, stuff like that. No dairy, no animal products involved. Yeah, so I do a lot of mushrooms, avocados. Yeah, but like today, I'm gonna have a salad, like a taco salad I got from this vegan place. It's guacamole, tomatoes, onions, jalapenos, vegan cheese. Yeah, and that's gonna be my dinner. I don't really eat the normal 3 times a day, like I said, because you want to kind of give your immune system and your digestive system a break from time. You know what I'm saying? So I fast at least once a month. Sometimes I go a couple of days, on just liquids.
Really?
Just soups, smoothies, water, tea, to give my digestive system a break. You know what I'm saying? It's real helpful as well. Fasting. I really promote fasting. It's you can really heal if you were to just stop eating for, like, let's say a week. Like, I just recently did a 10-day fast, no solid food, and I could really tell the difference. You know what I'm saying?
What did that feel like? Like, what does your body feel like going through something like that?
The first couple days are always the hardest, because you want to feel that crunch. You want to eat something. You want something whole, and it's like your body kind of have to get adjusted. So it's like you may feel a little weak at first, but once you kind of, it's like a recalibration. Once your body recalibrate to we not eating 3 times a day. We not eating crackers, or we're not eating bread. It's just soups and smoothies and teas. You start to feel a little rejuvenated. You know what I mean? You're not feeling as sluggish from your digestive system having to break down foods. You ever notice a lot of times you may eat a big meal and you go right to sleep?
All the time.
That they call it the itis. Yeah, that's essentially that's your food eating you.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because you done ate so much food, and now it's taking so much energy for your body to break it down that you got to shut down in order for you to digest it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that, bro.
Yeah.
And then a lot of this stuff is the research you've done over the last, like, 10 years?
Yeah, a lot of it is research and just being around other like-minded people who put their health first. Our health is wealth, you know what I mean? And like I said, I do a lot of research, reading on holistic health. Holistic meaning that you encompass your mind, body, and your spirit in all that you do. So I try to live a holistic lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? So anything that I'm eating, I want to make sure that it's good for my mental, my physical, and my spiritual.
Wow. I was going to ask you, I can only imagine that it would be a lot easier to change your eating habit once you've experienced a stroke or people that might experience heart attacks. But how were you able to prepare mentally? Or was it not a preparation? Was it, okay, I gotta eat better, I gotta do better?
Me personally, I just went cold turkey. It wasn't really much of a preparation, or it was if I want to live, I gotta do this.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I didn't really have too much, because like I said, basically I was half dead. Had I stayed down the path I was going, I'm sure we wouldn't be here talking about this right now. I would probably be, somewhere in somebody's graveyard. But my testimony, I was able to wake up from that sleep I was under, that spell I was under. I was in a deep, dark place, and it took for me to, I would say, kind of essentially die in order to live. You know what I mean? I kind of had to experience that in order to be able to know that, I was basically living to die when I should be living to live.
Okay.
So I didn't really think about it at all. It was, all right, even if, you know, it wasn't hard, it wasn't easy. I would rather say it wasn't easy at all. You know, I still get cravings for certain things. You know what I'm saying? I may smell, you know, on holidays, you smell all the food cooking at the relative's house, and it's like, man, I remember my mama peach cobbler, or I remember them neck bones and that chicken, you know, the barbecue, sweet honey barbecue chicken, you know, but it's like, I'm eating with a purpose now, you know what I'm saying? I'm eating to live, you know, instead of just eating to feel good.
Facts.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then with not eating meat, like, what's the best way, if you would give, you know, if somebody was to ask you, what is the best way to, because I want to try it. I want to try to not eat meat, but I don't know if I can handle going cold turkey. So what would be an alternative, or what are some alternatives to eating meat?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, I would say you can always take steps, you know. Like with me, like I said, I got rid of pork and red meat, you know, so you kind of want to break it down. There's a saying, what's the best way to eat an elephant?
Break it down.
Exactly. You got to break it down into pieces, so you can't eat it, can't do it all at once. So you got to take steps, baby steps. So me, I personally, I stopped red meat first and foremost. And then I cut out fowl, you know, fish. I never was big on seafood, really, so that was pretty easy for me. So I cut out chicken, turkey. The last step, the last thing that I cut out was the eggs, you know. So you want to just break it down, and then you want to have, like you said, alternatives. You know, my alternatives were beans, mushrooms is a good meat alternative. Avocados. Excuse me. You can do, you know, a lot of people make a mistake and go to a lot of like corn and potatoes, where you become essentially a starch heavy diet. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. But if you were to just want to get rid of meat, then you can probably use that as kind of your bridge to becoming more plant-based, you know. So yeah, you just got to break it down and make it a kind of a challenge to yourself, and and then you got to find like fun things to do while you be on the journey, you know. So you want to find recipes, and you know, people tend to think of vegetarian, vegans, y'all just eat grass and salads all day, when you know, you can make it fun. You know, it's pretty much, you know, you can just eliminate the meat and go for sides. You know, you can just try all sides. You go to a restaurant, just get sides, green beans, rice, macaroni, you know, one day, and then, you know, see how that make you feel, you know, and just go from there. It's really, I wouldn't say it's not really a blueprint, because we all, you know, we all on a different path, you know, but the destination is similar. So, you know, we can all take from different people and their stories and their advice, and add it to our own special, you know, repertoire.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I wanted to ask you, last question I wanted to ask you was, aside from the food and the diet, what was the process of you coming out of that depression? Because some people never get over the loss of a loved one or a relative, you know what I mean, or a parent. And you've lost both biological parents.
Right.
And is that something that you are out of, or is it just a process?
It's definitely a process. You know, my mother's death was more recent, about 3 years ago. So that's still kind of fresh, and it, you know, still hurts. But honestly, I went to a therapist. I started seeing a psychiatrist.
Dope.
You know, so I was talking to a psychiatrist about my problems. That helped me a lot. Just finding things to do, you know, I was, at the time, I was real isolated, you know, so starting to hang around loved ones more often, that would kind of lift my spirits up a lot. Giving myself something to kind of look forward to, you know, just being like focused on not falling back into the depression is a daily challenge, you know what I'm saying? Because it's always there, you know. You can, I still get sad from time to time, but
Absolutely.
as far as just flat, like going into where I was at, and you know, like days without bathing or eating and stuff like that, you know, I haven't been at that point in my life, you know what I'm saying, in some time, you know. And a lot of it was also, I was, during that point in time, it was homelessness, so that played a major role in it as well, you know, sleeping outside and sleeping in parks and sleeping in the snow, a lot of that stuff, it took a toll on me, but, you know, as far as getting beyond that point in my life, I really just got more in tune with my spirituality, you know, my spiritual sense, you know, my studying myself and health, you know, it all kind of helped me, you know, just really just learning myself, knowing myself. That was really the big thing, you know, and not allowing my outside, you know, distractions to control, you know, my inner thoughts and feelings, you know, because there's always going to be outside distractions and problems and obstacles, you know, but it's just how you deal with them, how you handle them.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. And that's something, man, a lot of men of color don't really take the initiative to do, and that's go talk to a therapist or a psychiatrist. They think that means, oh, I'm tripping or I'm going crazy. But no, that's actually, I feel like that's something it's becoming a necessity when it comes to men. It's mental health. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of mental health coaches and people that are, you know, making some noise about mental health. How important do you think it is for more of us young black brothers to go, you know, to a therapist or to seek some mental help?
I think it's very important that brothers find at least somebody or an outlet to discuss their, you know, their issues, traumas, or innermost, you know what I'm saying, difficulties with. You gotta find somebody who won't be judgmental first and foremost. You know, you want to find somebody who is kind of able to empathize with you, not necessarily sympathize for you, but just feel where you're coming from in a non-judgment zone. Our mental health is critical. You know, a lot of people don't really, like you said, they don't really take the time to examine their own mental health and status, because just in the environment we grow up in, would have you the hood or the ghetto or just basically, I would say, poverty. You know what I'm saying? It's not really spoken on or made real. I would say advocated. It's not real advocated as far as being a necessity to take care of your mental health. But yeah, it's everything. Like I said, I still frequently sometimes go see a psychiatrist just to breathe and express myself and talk. You know, it's relieving. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like you can take a big weight off of yourself when you're able to just let go and tell somebody what's wrong, what's going on, without them judging you or without them going back and telling somebody else, and you finding out now you feel like you know what I'm saying, people gonna be laughing at me, or you know what I'm saying, like I don't really see no issue with talking to somebody as far as about my mental health. You know, it was something I needed at the time, you know what I'm saying, but a lot of us aren't aware that, you know, in this environment we in is very helpful. I would say a lot of black brothers, you know what I'm saying, should seek, even if you don't feel like you going through a real deep mental crisis, you know what I'm saying, it still could be a very good help in your everyday life, you know, just to get some of that off of you.
Yeah. Okay. And then last thing I would ask is, for some young person, man, what words can you give to a young person that might be struggling with drugs, might be a friend might be encouraging them to try this or try that, you know what I mean, but having experience in that, what words would you share with a young, you know, teenager or young adult that's coming up?
I would say, as far as being peer pressured or even just falling into that lifestyle, I would tell young people that you only get one chance at life, and you want to make the best of it. You want to have all of the tools necessary to live righteously, live holistically. You know, you gotta feed yourself spiritually, you gotta feed yourself mentally, you gotta feed yourself physically. So with everything that you're doing, you gotta ask yourself, is this helping my growth or is this hindering my growth? And when I'm doing this, am I doing this with the intentions on living, or am I doing this with the intentions on essentially killing myself? You know what I'm saying? And you gotta kind of be realistic with yourself. You know what I'm saying? We all should be our first and foremost, we all should be our first judge and critic. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just be realistic with yourself and understand that I could be here today and gone tomorrow, so I should be living as though I wanna leave a positive imprint and impact on somebody, you know. And a lot of times we just don't see that positive person or a positive role model around. So if any young person, or anybody for that matter, young, old, or anybody, if they feel like drugs or, you know, just that lifestyle is appealing or pleasing to them, then I would ask them, do you feel as though when you're doing this, are you getting closer to life or closer to death? You know, and that's really, like I said, I feel like I was on the threshold between them both, so I chose to live. You know, and I don't want other people to have to go through such a traumatic experience in order for them to want to get their health and mental in order. But sometimes it takes for you to kind of go through, you know, a trial or a tribulation in order for you to recognize that I'm not doing the right thing. You know, sometimes the Most High gotta pop you on the head. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just thankful that I'm still here and able to tell my story and be able to be a testimony and you know, a positive, you know, visual for somebody to see that you can come up out of that.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Thanks so much, bro, for coming through, man. Hopefully this message will help millions and millions of people for years to come.
For sure. Peace and love, man. Love you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Log on. Right here.